Good morning, everybody. Normally, I stick to one news story to comment on, but today there was a multitude, a literal cornucopia of crap by the legacy media. Speaking of which, let's start out with ABC. Always bullshitting sheeple. Look at this headline. Free speech social media platform Parler is a hit among Trump supporters, but experts say it won't last. And they go on to say, Parler's success comes as Twitter and Facebook crack down on misinformation. What they're talking about, of course, is the mass exodus of people from Facebook, but especially Twitter, because they were banned. They had no choice but to leave these platforms. They were thrown out. And yet, the legacy media says that this won't last. How can it not last? It's not like they can go back to Twitter or Facebook when they've been thrown out. They've had no choice but to try to find an alternative means. And it looks like, at least for right now, Parler is the choice that they've gone with. Now, myself, I never had a Twitter account, and although I have a Facebook account, I haven't used it in literally years. I don't remember the password for it. I'm sure I could log on if I tried, but I'm not gonna try. Do I think Parler is gonna last? I think Parler is already exploding so large that it's gonna be surpassing Twitter soon, and it's gonna be giving good old Facebook a run for its money. Let's go on with another story. This is only the beginning of this cornucopia of crap. Of course, CNN has got to be included in this. Take a look at CNN's headline. At least 92,000 have filed sex abuse claims against the Boy Scouts legal team says. And then if you look at the embedded video for CNN, under breaking news, take a look at this. Lawyer, 12,000 Boy Scouts have been abused over decades. So these 12,000 Boy Scouts and their family, I guess, have submitted 92,000 claims. Well, I don't know about you, but this sounds sort of like what happened with the Catholic Church and the altar boys. Now, I can talk on this as a bit of an expert. You see, although I was a Boy Scout for a little bit over a year, I was an altar boy for a multitude of years. And you know what? In neither organization was I abused mentally or physically. In neither organization did anybody bring up any inappropriate remarks to me. I think this is the way it is and was for the vast majority of people that pass through the Scouts and that pass through the Catholic Church as altar boys. I'm not saying these things didn't happen. I'm saying they didn't happen as frequently as the press would have you believe. Let's go on to another legacy media source. Fox News. Breonna Taylor juror. Cops got slapped on the wrist. Now, let's go back in time. When the Breonna Taylor story first broke, poor Breonna Taylor, she was laying in bed when she got shot down dead by these violent police. And then it was later revealed that the police didn't shoot first. Her boyfriend did. And about the same time it was released, oh yeah, by the way, she wasn't in bed. She was standing by her boyfriend in the corridor. And later on it was released that not only did her boyfriend shoot first and the police fired back, but that her boyfriend, well, he was involved in drug dealings. Good old Brianna had bailed him out. He had used her phone number as the phone number to call when he gets arrested by police, so she was well aware of this criminal's doings. And the only thing that the police actually got criticized for is that there's one police who should have been thrown off the force anyway because his firing was so inaccurate. He was firing into the apartment next door. If he didn't spend enough time on the range to at least put lead in the right direction, yeah, he deserved to get thrown off the force. All right, let's go on to another story, which I actually do consider sad. This from NBC News. Food banks strained as families face economic hardship from pandemic. Now, I feel a little bit sorry for these people, but only a little bit. You see, if you voted for Uncle Joe, you voted for this. He said during the debates he was going to shut down the economy for 3 weeks. You know that his advisors have said, 3 weeks aren't enough. 4 to 6 weeks. And his advisors are still promoting the idea of shutdowns in at least part of the economy, even if the virus has a vaccine for it and it's being distributed. They want to control the public. So, if you're in a state that's suffering lockdown right now, which means the food banks are being strained, you voted for that government, that state government. I'm in one of those states that have stayed locked down for far too long. If you are too, and you voted to keep those power-mad buttholes in office, it's your own damn fault. Well, let's finish up with some good news, shall we? Newsmax.com. Grinnell, Nevada Dems panicking after local race gets tossed. This is important in that Nevada is one of those toss-up states that mysteriously went Democratic after they started counting all the mail-in votes. And mysteriously, in Nevada, as in other states, more mail-in votes were returned than submitted. I wonder why no legacy or very few alternative media sources have raised the question. Certainly good news like this might stop this steal. And right now we're talking about elections. But if Uncle Joe does get seated as our 46th president, it will go from stop to steal to the Dems stealing home. And I mean your home through increased taxes.